Hello, you degenerate old schoolers, and welcome back to another episode of The Orb. Tonight, we bring in a new look at a format. It's called Boreal, or 4-strip. It's not 1, not 2, not 3, but fucking 4 strip mines. And I didn't have a whole lot of experience playing 4-strip. And there's a good outcome, or good chance, that you're going to end the game with almost no permanents in play. It can be a fucking nightmare to play against 4-strip. So, I'm looking forward to it. I did recently play an event, went to a 4-strip in-person event, had a good time, great time as always. But got the bejesus beat out of me. So, I'm hoping to do a little bit better. Not only that, this is practice for the upcoming Summer Derby, where somewhere between 150 and 200 other degenerates will gather online via webcam to beat each other down and destroy each other's lands. So, my first opponent's John. He's on the Tabby playmat. Let's take a look at his deck. And here's a look at John's deck for the month. It is mono green, as you can see. All he needs to find is a forest, or maybe 3 at absolute most, to cast every card in his deck, minus the 1 if Bithafreet down in the bottom right hand corner. John's deck is absolutely stuffed full of creatures: 4 Scavenger Folk, 4 Scrib Sprites, 4 Pixies. He's got 6 mana producing elves, 2 of the Deep Shadow kind, 4 Llanowar. I like the 3 giant slugs that sit in here. They can be a nightmare for another aggro deck to deal with that giant slug that's either passing out for a strike or taking it right back away from other creatures. He's also got 2 Emerald Dragonflies, also first strikers that you have to pay a little extra for. Green, first strike comes at kind of a penalty to it, minus the Elvish Archers, which didn't make the cut here. He also runs 4 Crumbles in the deck in case he doesn't want to throw his Scavenger Folk bodies at it. A Chaos Orb, 2 City in a Bottles, which is going to be kind of a fucking nightmare for anyone playing with Arabian Nights cards. The 2 Maze of Iths are also powerful for this deck. He does run all 4 strip mines, 4 factories, 4 Pendlehavens to pump his creatures up and make them just a little bit bigger. He's got a ton of 1/1s. As I mentioned before, I think he's running something like 16 1/1 creatures, which is just huge. And John says, I'm not even going to fuck around with steroids, no giant growths. This deck is all natural. We're not doing drugs, no berserks. He is just sticking it in there. He's willing to throw some wood behind these creatures with that Pendlehaven. Has 1 Moxen. He's not worried. His deck's so low to the ground, he only needs 1 Moxen. The rest is just complete white noise in the background. His sideboard, has 3 Tranquilities for all those nasty enchantment decks. 2 Sylvan Libraries, I guess for the long games. 2 Copper Tablets, for anyone that wants to show up to this mess playing Stasis or whatever their claim to fame may be. 1 Loa. 4 strip decks, yep. Loa's not in the main deck. I love it. 4 Whirling Dervish to just clamor over those black decks that are out there. 2 Tormod's Crypts. Those are really good against the people that like to bring shit back from the graveyard. And the aforementioned 1 if Bithafreet. In need, he shoots, in case he needs to shoot down Sarah Angel. There's the Ifbith. So I like the design. Green, very fast and efficient, especially in the 4-strip format. So I've said enough about John's deck. Let's take a quick look at mine. And here's a look at my 75 card pileup for the month. Yes, pile up, because it is kind of a wreck. I played a 2-color deck at Kumite. That's where that Sarah Angel came from. Kumite was a 4-strip event. 2 colors, and I got my ass handed to me. I think I went 2 and 3, and I was trying. So I thought 2 colors didn't work out so well. Let's put all 5 together and see how this shit flies off the handle. I was playing white-blue initially. This is a 5-colored white. I'm going to call it 5-colored white because technically white has the most cards in this pile-up. We have the standard good cards kind of across the top. The ones that most people other than John, because John knows better, will throw in. Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, Brain Geyser. The 1 Fireball Regrowth, DT, Balance, that bullshit. My creatures for the win, 4 Dibs. I have the poor man's versions. They're revised. 3 Sarah Angels and 4 Urnham Jinn. So I have a 3-4-5 drop strategy. I want to fire out, one of those powerhouses. One of these 11 creatures. I want to fire 1 or 2 of them down. And then ideally, I want to try and kick the door shut as quickly as possible with an Armageddon. I do have 2 strip mines in here. I couldn't find room to place all 4 in here, especially with 5 colors. I am being very greedy. I did stick with only 3 City of Brass and then a myriad of dual lands. I did add in 2 Felwar Stones that I hadn't run recently. I think that's very well needed with the 4 strip. And I do run 1 Spirit Link. Ideally, I can get a Spirit Link on one of these creatures that has 3 or 4 power to it. And gain 3 or 4 life a turn, and if I have a Sylvan Library down, that's a free extra card a turn. Kind of a neat way to get a hold of it. If not, Spirit Link always works wonders if there's just one creature out there beating the living shit out of you, and it can prolong the game until you can find an answer. I carry 1 more on my sideboard, with a couple Tranquilities of my own, 2 Cop Reds, 2 Divine Offerings for those robot decks. I do also run 2 Tormont's Crypts for that undead shit that's out there. 2 Blue Elemental Blasts. I did add in some extra direct damage. I didn't want to rely on red, so I used the Psy Blast on my sideboard. Also a good way to kill off or knock off a Sarah Angel. 1 COP Black and a Dust to Dust rounds out my deck. So I've said enough things. Let's go ahead and take a look at game number 1. And here we go with game number 1. I was lucky enough to have to mulligan down to 5 cards. And John's on the play. The only upside to that is I'm on the draw, which is not what you want to be. But I'll only be 1 card down from John. So he fires an immediate Forest and an Elves of Deep Shadow. So he passes over to me, and I answer back with a library. This is fantastic. A way I can just wait a couple turns and start picking up cards, and shit. Well, that ends that. Land destruction happens. 4 strip is mean, and when you jam an extra 3 or 4 Ice Storm in your deck, you're going to fuck up someone's mana base. So I do come up with a second land. It's a Savannah. And John's firing down his 3rd land, a Factory. He's sending his Elves of Deep Shadow, poking in for 1, multiplying his creature base. So here he goes, more Elves of Deep Shadow. He also throws down his Scrib Sprites. Next turn he can come in for a total of 6 using that Pendlehaven and activating his Factory. So things can get ugly in a hurry here for me. I don't have an immediate answer, but I do pull out a Sylvan. So that's something. It'll help me dig through my library a little bit. Oh, shit. So here we go. Strip mine. Oh, I've been stripped. Volcanic is to the bin. It might as well be the lost city of Atlantis. Oh, look at this. John's coming in for 3. I'm down to 16. He also plays a Spitting Slug. This is getting ugly in a hurry. He'll have up to 5 creatures in a pump next turn. If he wants to attack for 8, he can. That's 2 turns away from death for me. And look at this. I have 1 land in play and a Sylvan. So hopefully I found both a balance and another land. Oh, Mox is good. Strip of my own, that's good. See if I can do something back here. Tapping 3, Dib. Okay. Dib's a real blocker. I wonder if he's going to want to throw bodies at this thing. The bad news is Dib still puts me on a clock. A pretty ugly clock. I think John can smell blood in the water. Oh, look at this. Sending the slug in. I mean, slug's going to live either way. I'm probably sweating it, trying to figure out if he's got giant growth in his hand. I don't need that slug on steroids, I know that much. And he's got another spitting slug. Oh my god, and another strip mine. This is just fucking brutality. He takes me off green and white, sends my Savannah to the bin. I think I hear him chuckle a little bit in the background, which I would be too. Still, he's got up to 6 creatures that can come in next turn. I have a Dib. Probably shit in its pants. I mean, I'm on 15. Normally when I'm on 15, I feel pretty good, but I do not feel good about what's going on here. I play down a factory. Yeah. I think I pretend to send Dib in. Hopefully I'm keeping him back for another block. We'll see. Yep, Dib stays back. That's probably in my best interest. Okay, sends in 2 spitting slugs. And we do have to deal with their first strike. I mean, it's like reading a short book on how first strike works over there, but he's either paying mana. Oh, shit. Yeah. He just fucking sinks out my factory with an ice storm. Mishra's worker has been shot in the back of the head by John. He's dragging the body off. There's a clear trail of blood following John's footsteps, and I don't think he even cares. So I'm down to 12 now. I mean, he's poking in with the spitting slugs. I'm getting nicked away by my own Dib. And look at this, city in a bottle. Oh, don't throw the Dib in the bin, that's revised. No, that doesn't work. John's sending the army in. This is brutality. Coming in for 8. I'm down to 4. I have 1 colorless mana, 1 blue mana, and I have a 5-color deck that requires an obscene amount of mana. John just beat the living brakes off of me. I mean, I think he said look up. I was looking up for like 10 minutes. He got out a baseball bat and just split me in the head. That was tough. So we'll swap out some cards and take a look at game number 2. Alright, and here we go with game number 2. Hopefully I can put on a little bit better show and actually play a few cards out other than having 1 Sylvan, a land, and a Mox in play. I mean, that feels bad. I start off with the factory. Always a good card. John starts off with a Pendlehaven and an immediate elf down. Strip mine of my own, and I'm mana ramping. Fellwar Stone. Fellwar Stone feels pretty good. It can tap for green. I have a few green spells in my deck, the Urnums. So that actually helps. It also helps that the first 2 lands I play only produce colorless. So here's John throwing down a factory of his own, ramping with a Scavenger Folk, and an Argothian Pixies. Look at this. He almost dumps his whole hand out there. Another strip mine. Tapping for Urnum Djinn. Okay. Urnum's a big bad beater. And I could give a shit less that he's passing out Forest Walk like presents on Christmas. I will be passing to the slowest, dumbest fucking creature he has. And I'll be sending this giant body in. So John does have some good answers for Urnham. He needs, I mean, he can tap 2 colorless and send that Urnham just packing. He plays down another factory. Okay, look at this. Ice Storm, knocking my factory off the board. Probably a good idea. Scavenger Folk. Oh, eating at my mana base. That's 2 for 2. And I mean, like strip mines or something, but they'd be good to take out the factories or Pendlehaven. But I need mana. I desperately need mana. My deck is greedy. We've talked about this. It wants mana, needs mana. So the only upside is I'm passing out Forest Walk, but I have 0 forests in play. So those Christmas presents, well, they just turned on a little bit because I was smart enough to play a scrubland. So that's my first blood against John for this match. Puts him down to 16. I'm still on 20. I mean, he does have a lot of bodies across the board. Those 2 factories, Pendlehaven, Pixies. So here we go. He's activating a factory, and he's coming back in for another 5. Oh, look at this. Disenchant on one of the factories. He pumps with Pendlehaven. He gets in for 4. So we're trading pretty evenly. Okay. Powers down another Script Sprites. I think my Urnham's going to be able to start collecting bodies soon here. We'll see if he has an answer to it. Ooh, fire down a new factory of my own. Urnham in for 4. He's down to 12. I'm on 16. His army is amassing, but I have some answers here with the strip mines and factory of my own. Yeah, John's tapping a green. Mishra's factory online. Sending the team in here. I still have 3 cards in hand. I mean, this is going to be 6, possibly 7, so go ahead and strip the factory down. That takes care of 2 of it. I just played my factory out, so I don't want to use them until I can pump. And look at this. Maze of Ith. That's solid. That's a way to get rid of or get around my Urnham. I'm down to 12, and he fires out an Elves of Deep Shadow. So, oh, look at this. Using a strip mine on my own. I like the strip mine business. Urnham in for 4. Maze of Ith in the bin. John's down to 8. I play out a City of Brass. Tap for 1. Go to 11 myself. And a Dib. So another body on board. And Dib's going to do some blocking this turn. I can feel it. John needs an answer here pretty quick. I mean, he's got an army out there, but they're tiny little minions. And my Urnham can step on minions. And my Dib's going to go out there and club them like some baby seals. Not good news for those minions. Looks like we're both packing about 2 cards in hand now. So, yeah, John's doing the math. He is sending the team in here to get some damage in on me. I blocked the 2-1. Take 3. And he's got another Pixies to throw out there. So I'm down to 8. He's got a body to throw in front of the Urnham. I go to 7 in my upkeep, so this is serious. And I can't attack with my factory. Tapping 2, Balance. Okay. This is a serious fucking card. It's going to be a 2-for-1. Or really a 2-for-2. I'm going to lose a land. Yeah, City Brass in the bin. Oh man, I lose a Mind Twist too. I guess that wasn't doing me any good. The other option was Mind Twist for 1, but really I need to get some of these creatures out of the way. I think I'm telling him you picked up one too many creatures. He gets to put one back. Yep, Scrib Sprite's back in play. Okay. Oh, nope. Just a practice tap on my Urnum. I mean, it's 7-8. This is a close game. I have big, ugly creatures out there, but at this point, I'm probably terrified of a Giant Growth and Berserk. That's gonna, I mean, that would end it for me, so I'm letting the flyer hang back. The problem with that is if he does actually have a Giant Growth Berserk, I mean, I'm going to be fucked. He's just going to do it to the one he doesn't block with. But that being said, you know, I don't want to take... I mean, if he just even has a Giant Growth, he can do it all at once, right? Scrib Sprite, pump, and throw the +3/+3 down. Oh, he doesn't have it. Shit. That was game number 2. Wow. No answers. Urnum comes swinging in through the trees for the win. So we are 1-1. I took game number 2. John gave me the beating in game number 1. Let's move on to game number 3. And here we are with the ever-important third game. 1-1. I have to mulligan down to 6. John laughs and states that he never mulligans because he doesn't have to. He's on green. He fires out a quick Llanowar Elf and a forest. I play a Loa, which is a card that's worth a lot, but if everyone just played 4-strip, I bet you that bitch would be a lot cheaper. Oh, brew fucking tality. John is just slaying me here. Taps 2, City in a Bottle. City in a Bottle kills my Loa. And it's going to kill a huge chunk of my deck until I can come up with a couple land and a disenchant. So I have my own strip mine. That's an answer to the factory. John plays another Pendlehaven. Always a good card. He does some practice tapping. Oh, there we go. Argothian Pixie, Scavenger Folk. Wow, he is loading the board. I think he has like 1 left in hand. Comes in for a second damage. I'm down to 18. This is looking ugly. I don't even want to count up the damage he can do next turn to me. I do play out a Tundra. So that is something. Oh, look at this. He's activating Factory, turning 4 creatures sideways. Disenchant on the Factory. I'm taking 5, though, down to 13. My life is flashing before my eyes here. John's just moving around the 1 card he has left. I still have a handful. I'm trying to get my way out of this. Okay, Factory. That is something. Unfortunately, he does have a Scavenger Folk. Activates Factory. Yeah, he's sending in the batch of 4 creatures again. Okay, strip down his Factory. And assorts the Plowshares. So that's actually something. Take out his Pixies. He goes to 22. I drop down to 11. Take 2, and he fires out another Scavenger Folk. So hopefully he is slowly running out of gas. I'm only on 11 life. He's on 22. Play Ancestral out. Yeah, no answer to that. That's a pretty good card. Followed up with a Savannah. I just passed with 6. He turns everyone sideways again. I can do the old block pump trick, maybe. Yeah, activating factory. And he says, shut that shit down. Crumble. Factory gone. Pumps the elf. He's coming in for 4. I am down to 7. With 2 mana sources here. Not good. Not good. John's still sitting on 1 card in hand, but he could give a shit less. I mean, he is just... He kicked in the door and says, I will be doing the pummeling here. And, yeah, I'm tied down to not having enough mana to do about anything. So, team's coming in again. He's pumping 1. He's coming in for 4. I'm down to 3 life. Thank God he didn't run Giant Growths in his deck. That might have been it for me. Okay, Disenchant on City in a Bottle. Ooh, I mean, I am hanging on by a thread. A bad fart in a small room would take me out right now. Tapping 4. Erdum, yes. Okay, Erdum's something. Oh, team in, though. This is bad news. With that Pendlehaven, yeah, he pumps. I couldn't do anything. Show him the fireball, but couldn't fire it off. No red mana. Beatings were real. John just took down this game. He wins the match 2-1. John takes us down. Congratulations, John. And as always, thanks for watching The Orb.